I work as a cleaner, and when I'm at work, I have to remove all the spider webs. But as I'm at home and I'm growing these plants indoors, that spider and its web can stay there because of any potential fungus gnats or whatever about the place. I'll change my mind if I end up with 20 baby spiders running about the place. So today we're going to cover all the things growing indoors, the peppers, aubergines, tomatoes, and then we're also going to talk about this double cup method from a British perspective, because nearly all the videos about it are American. So we'll do the veg first, because some of these are like quite quick and simple. So the aubergines, I've still got 43 of them, so I haven't killed any since last week. So that's 40 of them there. They haven't had any light for 2 days because I was working yesterday, and then in the evening I was too tired because I do about 25,000 steps a day when I'm at work and walk about 10 miles, and then I just wasn't feeling up to it because what it was, I was going to do this video yesterday and then move the plants afterwards because I thought the plants are where I need them to be for the video. So I've got 40 aubergines there. Oops. They're the 2 aubergines that were associating with the cayenne peppers. And that was the 43rd lost aubergine that was associating with the mixed peppers, and it's still associating with the mixed peppers. So after this video, I'm going to be cycling the various plants around the lights. I very nearly succeeded in killing all 13 of the sunstripe tomatoes. The seed leaves looked really, really bad because they spent a few days here close to this floodlight. So reminder this what this floodlight is. This is meant for outdoor use. It's 5,000 Kelvin and 5,000 lumen, which is close to what you need for a grow light. But it's got a motion sensor on it, so it's supposed to come on like you have it in a courtyard or whatever. So if someone goes there, it comes on for that. So it's a motion detector, either if you want to spend time there or when you've got intruders or whatever. So it's set so the motion sensor is turned off by switching the light on and off twice the electricity on and off twice within 3 seconds, and that makes it permanently on. So the seed leaves on these tomatoes nearly fried to death. I've moved them here where they still receive some light at an angle, but they're in recovery mode now, and they've started developing their seed leaves now a bit late. This one here looks like it has been killed by me, so looks like I'm down to 12. The 2 plants which had a seed case halfway down their stem, they've both seemed to have recovered, which was a bit of a remarkable situation. Okay, so we've done the aubergines, there was nothing to report there, and we've done the tomatoes. Oh, and this is the volunteer tomato. It's I want to keep it out in the polytunnel, but it's been too cold, so I've had to remove a couple more leaves from it. So it's still in recovery mode. I think down here in Kent, I'm thinking of planting the onions in the allotment on Wednesday, and then moving a lot of these plants to the polytunnel on Thursday, because that's when the temperatures are rising here. So like Wednesday's more of a transition day, and Thursday is like when we'll have the warmer temperatures. So I think we'll be amongst the last in the country to get the warmer weather, and some other places may be getting it on Tuesday or Wednesday instead. So peppers, there's not really much to talk about here. The peppers are doing well, albeit maybe a little bit leggy, but they haven't become more leggy. They've they've recovered, and they don't seem to be straining too much for the light. So here, that's me cayenne mainly, and that's 15 of the poinsettia chilies. They're the ornamental chilies that are going to go out on the front patio. And then I've got 4 of me lemon drop chilies here, and 4 of the vindaloo chilies. With the ghost chili, the boot Gelokia, I've gone from having 5 plants to having 6, and they look better now because even the strugglers, they've actually got although this doesn't actually have its seed leaves anymore, it's started to grow to proper leaves. Now with the Gelokia, you'll see that there's what's it, mould or moss or whatever, it's turning green on top of these. So I think this is partly connected to the double cup method, because after I watered them, rather than draining the water out of the bottom cup, I left it there for a couple of days because I basically forgot, because these were the last ones I was going to do, and so I didn't actually get round to getting rid of the water, because I know in the double cup method you can just keep the water there. I'm going to go into reasons why I don't think I can here in Britain or with these particular cups. So the mixed chilies, I've planted up half of them, and then half of them are still waiting to be done. I'll do those tomorrow. And what I'm thinking is, like, we're going to have another experiment, yay, is I've actually got 2 packets of boron, because I take this boron, and my packet went missing because I'm disorganised and untidy. So because the boron was important to me, I got a second packet, and then I found the first packet. So I've now got 2 packets of this. And so this one, for example, is best before the 31st of October. So what I'm thinking of doing is grinding up the boron, and then when I'm potting up these particular chilies, I'm going to put a pinch of the boron powder in the bottom. So, like, you know, when you do half a cup with compost and then you put the plant in, I was thinking of doing half a pot with compost, sprinkle a little bit of the boron in, and put the plant in there just to see what happens. And I'll put a writer B on the cup so we know they're the ones with boron in. So that's going to be an experiment. Now, to move on to the cups, I'm going to start with a story which you might think isn't all that relevant. So I don't actually have any pebbles or marbles or beans that you use for dried for blind baking in the bottom of my cup. So there is a particular reason for that. But I'll go into the reason of me. I'll go into the story of me looking for marbles. So I saw online that Poundland do 150 plus 1 marbles for £1. So I went to Poundland to get marbles. This was about 10 days or so ago, and they didn't have any. So I don't know whether they're out of stock permanently or whether they stopped selling them or whatever. But they suggested I go to Smiggle and the Works, which are two children's and toy companies, shops in town. So I went to Smiggle. They didn't have any marbles. They suggested I'd go to the Works as well. So I said, oh, that's already been settled. So I went to the Works. They didn't have marbles. I then went to the toyshop.co.uk or .com or whatever, the Entertainer. They don't do marbles either. Then I went to Pound Stretcher and they didn't have marbles. So I gave up looking for marbles. So I then went to Asda looking for those little clay balls that you use when you're doing blind baking, because I'm sure I've seen them there before. So I looked at the kitchen equipment aisle and the baking ingredients aisle. I just couldn't see them. So I gave up on those as well. Now, if you look at a set of 10 cups, they're very close together, one to the next, and they're designed that way so they don't use up so much room on the shelf. Now with me, I've been planting stuff in and growing things in these red cups for a few years now, and I must have about 150 or 200 of them. But all of my existing cups, they've all got three slits round the edge here at the bottom. That was my pathetic attempt at drainage. So I can't use any of my existing cups as the bottom cup because they've all got slits in them. So I bought the new 20-25 Poundland cups, and they seem to be a different shape or a different size to the existing ones. So I can actually put them in to the lower cup, and if there's that gap there must be the same gap at the bottom. But if someone new to growing this way with double cups, they were using this cup, they'd really need something to put into the bottom of the first cup, of the bottom cup, to raise the other cup a little bit in the ground. Now, you can just use pebbles, but I'm thinking if you're doing 100 or 200 plants in this way, then trying to find 200 different pebbles which are of the appropriate kind of size is a little bit of a task, which is why I was looking for the marbles. So I'm not using marbles because my cups, because I'm using new cups for the bottom cup and different design cups for the upper cup, it turns out I don't really need them for that. But what I am thinking has been happening is that when the cup goes in, somewhere down here, there must be a jamming point. And if it's jammed all the way around, so it forms a seal, then the bottom bit of air, there'll be like a suction effect. So down there, the water might find it difficult moving, and if water finds it difficult moving, then air will find it difficult to move as well. And so it's like a knock-on effect. So I suppose one way to tell whether you've got a jamming effect is if you lift the cup up and the bottom cup comes with it, which like that one does. So that's probably happening with that. So that's a warning sign that I might be creating some kind of quasi anaerobic condition at the bottom, so that even though I've already got a 3/4 inch gap here, it looks like I'll probably still need some kind of bigger pebble, like a bolchie, if you remember from our childhood. Put a bolchie down there to raise it up so that there's a little bit of an air gap there. So I've spent a long time talking about that because I think the aerobic situation is important, because this red cup method is popular in North America and it may be okay in San Diego and along the Rio Grande and in Florida or whatever, where it's like warmer. But if in the British conditions at this time of year, where it's colder and there's not all that much transpiration or evaporation, the water's lingering for longer in the cup. So I think we have to address that issue, which is why I think I've starting to have a potential problem down here with these ghost chilies. I'm just showing you these because there could be others which have this situation as well. Oh yeah, as an aside, that's all my snack peppers, 135 of them. So I think I'll be putting up the first tray on Friday, and then they can go and live in the polytunnel. Because if I pop them up now, it's just going to exacerbate my space problem. So going back to the double cups, I think you do need to have some kind of big pebble to raise the cup, the top cup with the soil in it above the bottom one. Now, when you water these, the plan is, or the theory is that the water in the bottom, the cup above it, can soak it up, and the plan is for the roots to grow out of the hole or the holes in the bottom, and to soak up the water and any nutrients that you put in it directly if it wants to. So instead of the roots being root bound in the cup, they're free to explore into the bottom section of the other cup. So at the moment, because this is early in the season, that's not really something that can happen. So what's happening in America is that this is like a way of transitioning into instead of growing your plants in the soil or in the compost, you're growing them hydroponically by providing them with nutrients in the water here. And you've got people doing videos showing plants getting really, really big and tall and bushy in the red cups with like a whole bunch of roots at the bottom of the cup growing in the water, soaking everything up. But so this would be useful if like you're disorganized or you've got problems planting things out later in April, May time. But is it necessary to actually grow plants this way? Even if you can do it, does that mean you necessarily have to do it that way when you can just use other ways you can just pot them up to a bigger pot anyway? So what I've been doing is I've been watering the plants in the red cups, and then the excess water in the bottom, I've been taking that and pouring it back into the top and going through, letting it run through. So I haven't actually got rid of top watering. So that I might be defeating the point of having this double cup method. But I'm giving because the roots aren't in the bottom yet, I'm giving the soil and the plant a second chance of soaking up the water. And then after that, any excess water that's remaining, because I'm worried about waterlogging and things being generally damp, I've just been once it goes through the second time and accumulates at the bottom, I've then been going through and draining the water into the watering can, which is why that looks a bit mucky in there. So if you check these plants here, you'll see that well, I was going to say there's no actual water in the bottom, but that one actually does have some water. But so like earlier, I was showing you this one. Oh, that still has water as well. Well, okay, that looks like that's more work I've got to do. See whether this has got water. So even this one that I've drained still got a little bit of water in it. So I think this is I think it's in British conditions at this time of year when you've got immature plants, you need to get rid of that excess water because I think I'm having things too damp. Because the thing to remember is that these cups aren't designed to have plants growing in them. they're, they're designed for drinking out of. So I think that's all I want to say about red cups at the moment, or that's all I can think of saying. So see you later in the week.